you've been trying to get to the town hall, we haven't been able to get there, so I'm really glad that you're having this tonight. My question, actually, I have a comment before my question, is, this president, when he came into office, he said that he wasn't going to go ahead and he was going to raise taxes. Well, of course, he was cigarette taxes, but, I'm not a smoker. However, he passed his stimulus package, and that's exactly what I call it, because nothing has happened with that. He has more torque and not than anything else. He's paying off all the people that voted for him, basically. He turned around and said he was going to go after the auto industry. We went after the auto industry. It's just been one thing after the other that isn't here. So my question is, everything that he's said so far, he's lied about it. How can we actually trust him with our health care reform under the circumstances, because he can't keep his word with anything? And secondly, even on page 392, it talks about how our taxes are going to be turned over to Washington, D.C. so that they can go ahead and keep track of our health care.
Thank you for your question. Gratefully, our system doesn't allow the president to have his way unconstructed. And some of them may want that, but Congress has to pass legislation. Now, I don't know who you want to blame for this legislation. I think if the president actually wrote it, it may be better than that. And that's how badly this was written, because there are a number of people in Congress who have wanted some of these things forever, and have just waited for the opportunity to write this piece of legislation. And some feel that the president should be more involved in laying out a plan that the Congress would then take up. This is more a product of the Congress than it is the president. But he has agreed to sign something with these principles intact. So gratefully, the president can't have his way. It's the Congress that has to work his will. The president has to okay it if he feels like vetoing. I don't think he will. But the important thing is, you through your representatives in Washington are making your voice heard. And it's not just you, it's everybody across the country has done this. You've seen the YouTube videos, and it's happening in virtually every district across the country. And I think the Congress is going to be very, very hard-pressed to move something swiftly now through. If you want my guess, this is what will happen, what the most likely scenario is that the Congress will come back and realize that they can't push through any semblance of that piece of legislation if they want to keep the majority in Congress. So, yeah. So I think it's more likely that by the end of the year they'll feel that they have to do something. To save face at least, they have to pass something. And that's why you hear the president now talking about health insurance reform instead of health care reform. They're already backtracking to some kind of cover. And my guess is that they'll move towards something like what's called guarantee issue, to ensure that insurance companies have to take everyone with pre-existing conditions and some things, mandates like that, which are going to be expensive and going to increase the cost of insurance, but that may be the extent of what they get this year. And if that's as far as they can go, that is a huge, huge victory for all of us, because it won't be something that takes us to a place where we can't return from. And that's the danger. Once you give an entitlement, it's very difficult to take it away, like we see with the prescription drug benefit and some other things. So I think that the president can't have his way without the Congress going. And the Congress, every member of Congress wants to be reelected. Every member of the House of Representatives is up for re-election next November, and a third of the Senate. And re-election means more than anything to members of Congress. I can tell you as a member of Congress. And so if they believe that they're not going to be re-elected passing something like that, they will pass something like that. So, thank you.
First of all, thank you for being here. In all the years that I've been an American, I have never been more scared. I know you say we're frustrated, and you're right, we are. But more than that, what I feel is fear. I think that we're right on the edge of losing our republic. And I know what you're saying about them feeling like they want to get reelected. That's the most important thing. But when I see the TARP bill pass after the House servers are brought down because of the emails that say, don't pass this. When I see it happen again with cap and trade, The bills